welcome to Chef's Special. Today we've got Dean Brewer. He's the executive sous chef at the Brisbane Showgrounds, and he also heads up the Royal Steakhouse kitchens during the Ekka. Hey Dean, what are we cooking today?
It was going to be one of our entrees on the Steakhouse menu, so we're doing a little steak tartare, a little bit of a twist on it, a little bit of Japanese influence. We're going to start here. We've got a beautiful piece of Royal 100 beef fillet here. We're going to trim it up. We take off all the silver skin, we take off all the fat content and everything like that. With classic with a steak tartare, you don't want to have too much of the fat content through it.
Okay, so Royal 100, that's a brand that is part of the Paddock to Palate Championship at the RNA?
Certainly is, certainly is. It's highlighted heavily on our menus.
And like this is eye fillet, which is a fairly high-end cut. Are there any other cuts that you might recommend that would be a good substitute for people out there?
100%. There's one of my favourites really is for the is a sirloin or a strip loin as well. Classically, a lot of places do a beef fillet, but I do prefer like a little sirloin. But for today, this here is a beautiful piece of eye fillet, and we're just going to go through and we're just going to clean it up, trim it off, take off what we call the silver skin.
So one of the things that people find a little bit intimidating with, particularly with little butchery things like this, is where to get started. What are the keys to it? And I know from working with you previously that we always head to our knives and make sure that our knives are sharp.
Yeah, I think the best thing is to have the right knife for the job, which does help a lot. And it is nice to have one or two nice knives at home that you can sort of grab and to go through and do a couple of these nice little dishes.
And you know what, there's other ways around this too. So speak to your butcher. If you feel a little bit intimidated by trimming up a piece of beef at home, if you haven't done it before, talk to your butcher, they'll sort you out and you'll end up where Dean finishes in about a few minutes.
It's this is the main thing, to remove the sinew, because it is the little chewy part of it. So we need to really make sure that's all cleaned up, and we can just break it down into little smaller pieces. We're going to slice it first, and then we'll go through and do a real nice fine dice. So I'm going to swap up and bring in a larger knife for this job. Okay, so we can go through.
The traditional style of beef tartare can be a little bit intimidating for some people. This is a really great way. If you haven't really tried raw beef in this way before, it's a great way to get into it.
Yeah, a couple of little ingredients that we're putting in there, it sort of lightly starts to cure the meat, so it makes it a little bit more palatable for those first timers. Yeah. So as we can see now, we're going through. It's a real nice fine slice. We don't want to mince it too small. It doesn't want to be all chewy.
Still want to have a little bit of texture there.
A little bit of bite when we go through, and a little bit of resistance. We'll do this little piece here, and I think that is near enough the preparation side for our beef.
That small piece of beef that chef's just chopped up, you can see how much we're being left with here. So this is something that's going to go a long way.
Safe to say here, we've got like 3 to 4 portions there.
Easily.
Easily. That's the first step. We've got all our little butchery sides done.
Right, chef, so our beef's all cut. I feel it can be a little bit flavourless. So I think this is a dish that's going to work really well with the dressings that we're looking to put with it.
100% there, chef. So what we're dragging into it, we've got like a little Nori Paste here now. So this one here has got a new, unique flavour, but it definitely complements that beef really well. Also, we're dragging in the Smoked Soy Sauce. We got a little Dashi Stock as well. Now, Dashi Stock I have seen in some supermarkets around town. We've got a little Light Soy Sauce here as well. Every good little dressing needs to counteract against a little bit of sesame oil. I am going to get your hands dirty now. Okay,
let's go.
So you'll be onto the lime mayonnaise. That's it.
A little bit of the lime juice mixed in with the Kewpie Mayo.
100%. That's it. That's as easy as it gets. 2 ingredients. While chef's playing over there with his 2 ingredients, I'm going to drag together all these other ingredients we've got. So this is this nori.
Let's go.
Okay, this is the little nori paste that we've got. You smell that? Smell that?
Yeah, it's very
gear,
fresh,
isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so we've got our nori paste in there. This is the light soy sauce. Okay, that one can go in there. Now this is where we're going to introduce this one here as well, chef. That's the smoked soy sauce. So this guy here is a little bit measured. Just be a little bit careful. Go under a little bit. So in with the dashi as well now. Okay, and then another one we should be a little bit cautious of and control is the sesame oil, because it is such a strong ingredient. So that in there. How's that 2-ingredient recipe going?
Yeah, I'm handling it, Chef. I'm coping.
Yeah, good. Okay.
All right, so we're just folding through that mayonnaise there.
Yep.
So once again, I was careful not to add too much lime juice to wet it down too much. A good chef will taste again, and then when he thinks it's right, he'll taste it again. So you'll see us today, we'll be tasting, thank you, Chef, we'll be tasting the dressings and things all the way along to make sure that the flavour profile's right.
Okay, here we go. First taste test.
It's on the money.
Okay, this one needs a little bit of help.
With that, Chef, when you tasted it, what are the things that trigger in your mind to say, okay, it needs something?
We work on it, don't we? It's like flavours and textures and appearance.
Balance.
And it's balance, and it's going through your natural sort of the senses, using your senses. So that's where, as we mentioned before, that light soy sauce, we just drag that in a little bit and just lets the sauce out, makes it a little bit softer.
Think about it also that it's not just a taste, you're going to be eating the whole plate. So when you're putting it together, when you're looking at saltiness, sweetness, whatever it is, when you taste it, think, oh yeah, it's great, it doesn't need it, but think about having the whole entree or the whole dish, how that's going to feel after that. We
can just go through and add a little bit of fresh ginger, which the ginger will just give it that little bit of extra sharpness as well, and just and help balance it out. Pinch a little bit of lime juice from you, Chef.
So lime juice, adding the acidity, adding that bite, a little bit of tang. Once again, we talked a bit before about this beef is going to start to almost cure. That lime juice is going to help that along as well.
Oh, happy days. There we've got our beef, we've got our smoked soy vinaigrette, we've got our lime mayonnaise. So the next step is going to be the soba noodle salad that we put with it. Keep it simple, Chef, never. Yeah. So what we're doing is doing a little soba noodle salad. So we've got our soba noodles here. I've already got the water coming up to the boil here. So we'll be cooking the soba noodles, and then we just do a couple of little fresh ingredients that go into that salad. Don't forget, this is the hero, and we're just going to do a nice little centre serve of a soba noodle salad, a little bit of Japanese seaweeds in there, some soybeans,
some fresh cucumber,
some green apple to go on the steak tartare, and a couple of little crispy bits to finish it off.
Add some texture, nice and fresh with the cucumber.
Okay, so here we go, soba noodles. These guys don't take a long time to cook, okay? So they're quite a delicate noodle. So we've got our water boiling here. So we've got a nice rolling boil, so that's what you want. The reason you want it rolling for is what happens with the water rolling, it's gonna move the noodles, and then the noodles won't sink to the bottom. They'll keep moving and you won't have a big pile of glug. So it's boiling water, okay? So I like to just spread them out, sit them on the bottom, and then just sort of push them down, and then you can see they just sink to the bottom there. They're just starting to roll with the boil. So we'll keep an eye on those guys for a moment.
So another tip there, you can see how much water is in this pot, you know, for the quantity of the noodles. It's the same with pasta. Lots and lots of water. You don't want to constrict it. Let the water roll through it. We've got some beautiful Stanthorpe apples here, nice and fresh, nice and crisp. What are we going to do with them, Chef?
Right, okay, so with our green apple, a little bit of knife skills here. So we'll just take a nice cheek off our green apple. Okay, lay it nice and flat. And that's the key, is like having it nice and flat and easy. Take the end piece off. So then, it doesn't have to be super quick like those flash chefs. Take your time, roll your knife down there, thinking those noodles might be close. Okay, Chefy, I'm gonna come right across in front of you to the sink.
With just one of these little packets, we've probably got more than enough there than what we'll need for the 4 people.
Okay, now they don't really need to be refreshed. They'll be okay sitting there, and even straight out, a little bit of the soy dressing on there.
Just to toss them through a little bit.
And just give them a little shake, okay? So that's the soy sauce there is going to go through it. Okay, so that's our noodles, so we can set them
to the side.
Yep, they can go to the side. There's our cucumber ribbons there, so we've got that there.
Little job for me.
Little job for you.
So we've got some edamame, and all we're doing, we're just defrosting these. We're just popping them out of the shell.
Now, we're doing our matchsticks, okay? Now, a lot of people go, oh, where's your water and your lemon juice, chef? I'm not a big fan of it. If you work quick enough and manage your time, you can get away without your apple discolouring, because once you start introducing your apples to water and lemon juice, you're rinsing that beautiful flavour.
For our executive chefs at home, so if they feel this is a little bit too intimidating for them, are they okay? Just some nice apple slices will work. Okay.
Even apple slices, and even good old box grater.
Yeah,
you
sure.
can go straight over the box grater at home if you want to go through and cut out the risk of any damage, or if you think this is going to take. But hey, it's a nice little knife skill, and hey, for those home chefs, using your favourite knife, it's a simple little task. So what we've got next to go through here, now we've got these beautiful, now they've been around for a while, but what we've got here is some little micro herbs. Okay, right. So next job, Chefy, pass us one of those bowls for us there.
There you go.
Beautiful. So what we're just going to do, guys, is just sort of 3/4 the way down our herb is just lightly snip it, and that's all we're looking for. Okay, so it's just like a nice little snip of the fresh herb. So we'll probably go 3/4 of that one. Here we go, the little. Now this is parsley. You could use celery, you could probably use a little bit of the micro coriander. They all come in sort of little punnets. So we can sit this guy here. This guy's ready to go. Our next little dressing is just that quick little pickled ginger in there. This is for the noodle salad. So we've got the pickled ginger. I'm going to go for a little bit of dashi. Okay, we'll go for a little bit of the light soy sauce. And that there is what we're going to dress our noodles in. We'll throw in all these little components.
Yep.
And then we can start plating. I think we've got our beef, we've got our
Wonderful.
ginger, we've got our crispy bits. Our soba noodles coming back into the frame here. So as we can see here, we've got our soba noodles sitting here. We've got our dressing here. So what we can do is our little soba noodles can go in there. This guy can come off. Now this guy here, now we put some beans, the dashi, the pickled ginger in there. We're just looking for a little bit of colour as well, so I reckon we can go a little bit of
the wakame.
A little bit of the wakame. Can go there. Now our sea grapes. Now as you can see, these sea grapes, when we got them out of the packet to now, you can just start see where they start to puff up a little bit. And they have the little fresh, salty crispness, so we can put those guys in there as well. I'm going to put all these in there. This will be our little soba noodle. So you don't want to get in there either and like really give it a hard stir, because you're going to break up your noodles. So you're really looking to get all those colours evenly put through.
Soaking up those flavours, the different textures of the wakame, got the edamame in there as well.
I'll sneak a little bit of sesame oil in there as well, just to loosen it and for the flavour, because we're going to throw some sesames on top. Okay, so that really that's our soba noodle salad ready for plating.
Great.
I think we can go to our steak tartare. In a nice large bowl, don't skimp on the bowl. Get a nice bowl, we'll get all that beef in there.
So this has come up to almost to room temperature as well,
yes,
Chef?
Once we finished it, initially we put it into the fridge and then we dragged it back out and let it just sit, I'd probably say 15-20 minutes.
Yep.
You can put a little tea towel over it or something like that. Okay, so what you can see now, Chef, is that beef, it's starting to oxidise, and we've got that really beautiful red colour of beef in there as well. So this is the smoked soy dressing.
This is the one we've made before?
Yep, that's the one we made before. Now what we'll do, we'll go give it a good little stir, because it's got a little bit of oil in there, and then we can start.
So having the beef come up to room temperature as well, that'll help your taste buds, and all of those flavours will be more accentuated. So the colder any food is, it's harder for those flavours to come through. So the more that it's coming up to room temperature, the more you're going to taste of the ingredients that are in this dish.
Okay, so as you can see now, it's got that beautiful, nice colour. Got the beef there, the nice little dice. You can still see the dice there, so it's got that texture. We'll have that beautiful flavour, and you can start to smell it as well. So we can sit that aside. Next one we'll do is our soba noodle salad. So we've got this beautiful plate here. Guys, It's not all about the plate sometimes, but hey, you can look at a meal and it's just the contrast, the colours of that plate that will work against your salad. And we've got this charcoal coloured plate I picked here this morning. So then we can grab our noodle salad. There's nothing flash about this one, guys. It's just give it just another little turn to make sure that dressing is all over the noodles. They've taken them out.
So this is a salad, chef, you'd serve family style? You know,
100% family style, this one. It's in the middle of the table. We'll have this beautiful little tartare individually plated.
I can smell all of that smoky soy. All of those flavours are just bouncing off that plate.
So as we can see, look at that. What they say in the kitchen, get more height on that, get more height on it. Here we go. We've got the little beans in there, the ginger. Dashi Stock, there we go.
Lovely.
Look at that. And then what we've got here is another, this is a dehydrated, dried out, real fine cut of ginger. Doesn't need a lot.
Overly spicy, chef?
It is, it does have a bit of a kick, so if you're a bit of a person who doesn't like spice, I wouldn't go too heavy on it. But hey, look at this, it's starting to sit up there like that.
It just adds a little point of difference again, you know. These are the little touches that will lift your dish to another level.
And then here we've got some toasted black and white sesame seeds. You can just sprinkle them, they don't have over the top like so. And bang, there we go. That's that first component, that's our salad. Now that could sit, I wouldn't do it too far ahead. But I'd say 5 minutes before we tackle the plating up of the steak tartare, you could have that guy ready, sitting on the side, ready to go. Happy days. So we've got the steak, we've got our dressing, dragging back in those little herb salads. Now over here, I've just got a little Chardonnay.
A little secret ingredient, pulls out the vials.
Oh, here we go, here we go. So it's a little sweet green apple vinaigrette. So we've got the green apples in there. So as we said before, we don't want to dress them too early. So we'll just little bit of that dressing just down the side there. It's a dark dressing, so we don't want it too dark. And then here we've got a little bit of a smoked sea salt. So this is another ingredient. And believe it or not, in like little gourmet delis, it is available. It's usually next to all the sea salts, and you can pick up like a smoked sea salt.
So we're carrying that theme. We've had the smoked soy, now we're using a little bit of the smoky sea salt.
So
think about those flavours that are going to come through when we finish that.
So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a taste.
So this product, this beef has been grain fed for 100 days. You know, it's one of the foundation competitions at the RNA, the paddock palate competition. It's exceptional. It's featured on our menus across the Showgrounds. So, you know, get out there, find a supplier,
popular, isn't it?
and
Very popular.
Get a hold of some.
So this is another little gadget we've got from the kitchen. It's one of our little circular stainless steel molds. It's sort of...
So you could use a cookie cutter.
Oh, 100%.
You know, you could
100% cookie cutter.
We've used, even in the kitchen, we take a bit of PVC pipe, cut it into different shapes. So, you know, you don't have to use this exact one. Find what works for you guys.
So, here we go, guys. Crunch time, plating. Okay, so we're getting our steak tartare in there. Okay. Now I would go to say no more than 80 grams is probably suffice for like a little entree. So we've got those cucumber ribbons, and then we've got that little julienne of Stanthorpe apple coming through. Now, how's that lime mayonnaise, chef? Have you got your lime mayonnaise ready to go?
I'm on it.
Okay, some cucumber, so the apple. And we've like little salad, it's all about balance and contrast as well. So bang, there we go. Now I'm going to introduce another ingredient.
Look, this is a product that's known by lots of different names around the world. It's an ancient product. It comes from a time where people were air drying and didn't want to waste anything, but now it's come very much into the popular domain. So karasumi is essentially the dried roe of either mullet, can be tuna as well. In European cuisine, it's called bataga. So there are different varieties of this ingredient. So it's salty, it really tastes of the ocean, and it has depth of flavour.
So on top of your mayonnaise there. And then the advantage of putting it there, if someone goes, oh, what's that? And you explain it to them, they go,
For sure.
Turn their nose up. a little bit onto the side so they don't have to indulge in it.
And look, this is a dish for people that want to be a little bit adventurous. This is a dish where you're pushing the boundaries a little bit with the flavour profiles. We're talking rare beef, so this is something that you can experiment, use it for a dinner party, and test your friends' palates.
What we can do is just add a little bit of that dressing on. There we go, Chef.
Fantastic. Nice
Job
work.
done. Nice work, thank
Good
you.
work.
So there we got our steak tartare of a Royal 100, little apple cucumber micro herb salad. We've got the lime mayonnaise. We've got that little smoked soy vinegar around the outside. Finished off with the shaved bataga or karasumi. And
Beautiful.
then over here, centre served, we've got our noodle salad, soybeans, wakami seaweed, finished off with some sesame. That's us for today. So I think it is time to call on our sommelier, get them here, get the alcohol matching with this, and let's go and have lunch.
Let's have a crack at it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so our wonderful food dishes are ready to go. We're going to pair it with some wine. We've got a wonderful Jim Barry, the Florita Riesling. So Riesling is a wonderful accompaniment for this type of food.
I must say, Chef, thank you. Thank you for your assistance today.